Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here with a review of the HM1315W Sky Hawkeye. Now the Sky Hawkeye is another version of the Sky Hawkeye's been out for a while, but this is a version that does not come with its own screen. It's a Wi-Fi FPV flyer. Here's your transmitter and camera, but it does not have its own screen. For this one, you can use your own phone or tablet to receive reception from the quadcopter to do FPV flying. Now, there is another version that's Wi-Fi, the original 1315 that came out, but it had its own screen, and that own screen was pretty darn expensive. It added another $40 to the cost of this quadcopter. As such, this one's, again, $40 less than the original 1315 design. It's a very good looking quadcopter if you look at it. It's in red and black. Kind of looks like Spider-Man design, but again, it's not Spider-Man. It's its own design here. Let's see. Going over the particulars of the transmitter. The transmitter does have headless mode and one key return. So there's a feature of headless mode with this quadcopter and one key return, which means that it remembers the initial bearing at takeoff. So if you set a bearing, say that pylon off in the distance there, you point this quadcopter toward the pylon. When you bind the transmitter, it will remember that direction throughout the flight for headless mode. So if you keep the quadcopter flying down that bearing and you want it to come back to you, all you got to do is press this one key return and hold it down for 3 seconds, and the quadcopter will fly parallel to that bearing and backwards down that initial bearing, hopefully toward you if you've kept the quadcopter in front of you down the bearing. Entering headless mode, again, it remembers that bearing, so all pitch and roll commands are with respect to that initial bearing. So forward push on the quadcopter will cause the quadcopter to fly forward down the headless mode bearing. Pulling it back will cause the quadcopter to fly down that headless mode bearing, and this is regardless of which direction the quadcopter is pointed. If it's pointed even toward you, pulling backward will still fly the quadcopter toward you. Other features, you can change the speed from beginners to expert by pressing the left speed button here, and of course it has flips. That's it in a nutshell. Let's go for a flight of this thing and see how it performs. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, we're going to fly the Sky Hawkeye from the safety and comfort of the pits here. The reason being, I have some shade here that I can stay in while I'm flying this thing, so that I'd be able to hopefully see this screen and hopefully have you see the screen. To start this thing, you turn it on. There's an on-off switch, by the way, which is cool. I like on-off switches. Then turn on the transmitter. Bind it to the quadcopter. Okay, 2 up and downs are needed on the throttle stick to bind the quadcopter. Then we're going to turn on the app. Now I got this app from the App Store. It's called SkyMax. There's the SkyMax app, and it has 2 versions, 720p. This is not 720p. This is Wi-Fi, so it's going to be the lower one. And here's what we're seeing on the screen. Let's get in the shade here. Hopefully you can see that. I can actually see it out here as long as I stay in the shade here. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. There's the pits as seen from my quadcopter. Now I'm also going to hit record. And I'm going to record directly to the phone here because I don't want to be aggravated. Although that doesn't have a card in it. I might try later on to see if the... okay, I'm recording. If the card has is useful on this quadcopter, but let's go for a flight. And I'm trying to fly. Well, it's working. Seems to be working very well. Let's turn it. Let's give it some altitude. It's nice and stable. I remember that I had the original HM1315, which is also a nice stable quadcopter to fly. And I'm rotating and trying to bring it over my position here. There I am down there. Okay, I've lost reception. Well, it just stops. You get, I better come down a little lower. And I'm going to higher rate. There we go. I'm back in range again. I don't know if you saw that on the screen or not, but I'm pretty darn high up there. Let's bring it down lower. And I was pretty far away. I was close to about 80 meters. I think that's the range of this thing, the advertised range. Maybe they're talking about the advertised range of the Wi-Fi. Let's bring it in closer. So you can see me in the shade here. Hello there. Let's go for, oh man, this works. Go for an outboard flight. Let's go down the field. Yeah, and this is the HM1315. Great beginners learn to fly quadcopter, by the way. It's very docile. Okay, I'm going to land it for a second. The reason being, I want to press the buttons on the screen here and try the SD card out. Okay, landing. Now I'm stopping the recording on the screen by pressing that button. Okay, that should set it back to 0. And then pressing this button should record to the SD card. And is it? Okay. Start SD card record. Okay. Let's press it one more time, make sure it is recording. Okay, the numbers are the numbers increasing? 5, 6, yes. It's recording on the SD card. Let's go for a flight. This is what the SD card looks like on this thing. Okay, and I'm going to rotate it. Let the wind blow it back a bit. This is SD card recording. Actually, it's recording both to the SD card and to my phone. Okay, well, you can do that supposedly. I hope it's recording the SD card, because most of these Wi-Fi's, their SD card is inoperative, and they do that deliberately to prevent lag from the camera. Can you see what I'm seeing, folks? I hope it's coming through as I'm flying by myself here. And I can see lag here. There is a lot of lag. Really laggy. Let's bring it in and turn that SD card off. Hello again. We're turning the SD card off. Stop SD card. Okay, we're still recording to the phone. Going for another flight. Hey, you know what? I like this one. Okay, there's no lag now. The lag's gone away. So again, you know, if you're going to use that SD card, you're just doing that for aerial video purposes. You should be flying it line of sight only, because it gets real laggy once you use that SD card. It's nice and smooth without recording. Again, that's the reason why most of these companies disable the SD card. There's little stops every once in a while, but you can see what you're filming, definitely. And sitting here in the shade, I can actually see it. I'm gonna have to remember this for future FPV flyers. We're flying this until that battery dies, by the way. Seeing what the flight time is on this. So far it's been okay, pretty good. I don't know how many minutes I've been flying, about 4 or so, 5. Let's fly it up the pits again. Now normally I wouldn't fly through the pits here, but this is a toy. And there's nobody here but me. It's early in the morning. That's when I fly. take advantage of that. Besides, it's hot here in the summertime, and a lot of the fellow club members here don't fly in the summer because it's too hot. I, on the other hand, don't mind. Great quad. Great beginner's FPV quad. I like this one. Hello again. When is your battery gonna die? You know, that was the one thing I didn't like about the original 1315. Its battery didn't seem to last very long. This one's lasting a good time, a good long time. I gotta compare. I should have brought my original one to compare. Okay, as the battery gets weak, obviously, though, the reception, okay, of the Wi-Fi starts to get jittery. I'm getting freezes and that. But I'm giving you a tour of the pits here. Yeah, I'm using increased throttle. That battery's about to go. That's the flight time. Let's stop this recording. I'm going back in the shade again real quick. Make sure I get this recording. Did that stop the recording? I believe it did. I'm hoping it did. Anyways, we're going to pick up this quadcopter and do my final say of hope you enjoyed this flight. This Quadcopter 101. That was a flight. I'm still getting reception. Let's go back in the shade so you can see it. There we go. Quadcopter 101. Let me get some sun on my face. Quadcopter 101. Hope you enjoyed this flight. This is the HM 1315 signing out.